The first human ship to leave the Sol system glided silently past Saturn's rings. Its hull reflected the pale gold of the distant sun, and inside the crew moved with quiet focus. Every eye was fixed on the same question. How far could humanity reach? How far could they change the universe without knowing the cost? Commander Aaron Kane stood at the observation deck, his hands resting on the railing. Beyond the glass, stars stretched like threads of silver across the dark sky. He had seen them every night on Earth, but now they seemed closer, almost reachable, yet more fragile. "Sir," said Lieutenant Mara Chen, her voice breaking the calm. "The sensors are picking up anomalies ahead. Light levels are off. Some stars appear brighter, some dimmer. Patterns are not natural." Aaron's brow furrowed. "Check the calibration. We're not in any known nebula or star cluster." Mara shook her head. "Calibration is correct, Commander. Someone, has changed them." The words made Aaron's stomach tighten. He knew humanity had been experimenting with ways to harness star energy for travel. The research had been secret, but he had hoped the changes would stay confined. Instead, they had already reached out into space, touching stars far beyond their original plans. The ship's AI, a soft-voiced entity named Lumo, chimed in. "Commander Kane, analysis indicates that the starlight deviations correspond with known human experiments. Energy wave propagation is consistent with Project Dawnlight." Aaron exhaled. "So our experiments are already visible from light years away." "Yes, sir," Lumo replied. "And it is affecting nearby systems in unexpected ways." The crew fell silent. The thought that humanity had unknowingly altered distant stars weighed heavily on them. Not in fear of themselves, but in fear of how others might see it. Back on Earth, President Helen Hale watched the latest reports with concern. In a room filled with holographic star maps, she traced the paths of energy waves that stretched from human colonies into the stars. "These are not minor fluctuations," she said. "Some planets are receiving extra radiation from our experiments. Ecosystems could be affected, and other civilizations might notice. We must act carefully." Her advisors nodded, but their faces were tense. They had been pushing for faster expansion, stronger technology, more power. Now the unintended consequences of those ambitions were undeniable. "We cannot undo what we have sent out," Hale continued. "But we can study it. We can guide it. We cannot let the galaxy see humanity as careless or worse, dangerous." In the following hours, scientists from every major human station pooled their data. Simulations showed how the changes to starlight were spreading. It was faster than anyone had predicted. Planets that had never seen human influence now experienced slight variations in light, gravity, and energy flow. Dr. Eli Navarro, one of the lead astrophysicists, looked at the simulations in disbelief. "We're touching worlds we've never seen. Flora, fauna, entire ecosystems. Even small changes in light can affect growth cycles, migration, and climate." President Hale nodded. "Then we must understand and adapt." Dr. Navarro, "Humanity cannot claim the stars without responsibility for them." Meanwhile, aboard the interstellar ship Aurora, Aaron Kane's crew prepared to navigate closer to the affected star systems. "Course plotted," Mara said. "Destination, the Tau Ceti cluster. That's where deviations are strongest." Aaron's hands gripped the railing again. "We need to see the effects firsthand. Prepare all observation equipment. Record everything. No interference unless absolutely necessary." The ship slipped through the void, passing constellations that had once been symbols of eternity. Now they were symbols of change. A distant star winked in a shade of gold that Aaron did not recognize. Another pulsed briefly, sending waves of blue light across space like ripples in a pond. "Look at that," whispered Ensign Jiro, the youngest crew member. "It's beautiful, but wrong. It's different." Aaron nodded, though his mind raced with concerns. They had given humanity power to reach the stars faster, but what had they done to the natural rhythm of the galaxy? As the ship approached the first affected system, instruments began picking up subtle signals. Pulses of energy, unlike natural stellar radiation, moved in predictable patterns. It was as if the stars themselves had been tuned like instruments in a cosmic orchestra. Lumo's voice cut through the quiet. "Commander, energy waves correspond with early Project Dawnlight calibrations. However, amplitude is higher than expected. Nearby planets may be experiencing unusual environmental effects." Aaron frowned. "Any signs of life? Intelligent life?" "Unknown, sir," Lumo replied. No transmissions detected yet. However, the signals may have caused automated monitoring systems to react differently than expected. The crew exchanged nervous glances. Humanity had changed the stars, yes, but had anyone else noticed? Far beyond human charts, distant civilizations were indeed noticing. On a planet bathed in violet light, observers scanned the skies. Star positions were subtly altered. Their brightness, once constant for millennia, now shifted unpredictably. Sensors picked up energy patterns that were foreign. One of the leaders, a tall figure with silver-blue skin and eyes like liquid crystal, addressed the council. Our readings show interference in our star systems. Energy is flowing from the direction of a distant intelligent species. Unknown motives. Unknown power. Another council member added, "It is not hostile, but it is reckless. We must decide whether to observe or respond. If we respond too early, we may provoke them. If we wait, they may change more than we can tolerate." The council debated long into their night, unaware that the humans who caused these changes were not far from understanding the same consequences. Back on the Aurora, Aaron's crew finally arrived at the first system showing clear signs of disturbance. Planets glowed faintly under unnatural wavelengths. The crew's instruments measured energy surges, and biological scanners indicated subtle changes in plant growth cycles. Dr. Navarro's voice echoed in the communication channel. "Commander Kane, readings confirm my predictions. Even minor light changes are causing accelerated photosynthesis in some plants, slower growth in others. Entire ecological systems could be shifting." Aaron's eyes narrowed. "And if life on these planets is intelligent?" "That's the risk," Navarro replied. "They may perceive us as threats if they notice these changes." The weight of responsibility pressed down on Aaron. Humanity had reached for the stars. Yes, but in doing so, they had entered a web of life far wider than they imagined. Each action, each experiment echoed across light years. Yet amid the uncertainty, there was a glimmer of hope. The changes, though unintended, could also be controlled. With careful observation, humanity could guide the energy, not just for faster travel, but to stabilize ecosystems, to leave worlds better than they found them. Aaron turned to his crew. "We have power, we have knowledge, but more than that, we have choice. Every decision we make from here will shape how the galaxy sees us." The crew listened, understanding the gravity of the moment. For the first time, they truly realized that the stars were no longer just distant lights. Humanity had touched them, altered them, and now bore the responsibility for their new radiance. Night fell over the Aurora's observation deck. Stars, once constant and familiar, now shimmered with hues that seemed alive. Aaron gazed at them, wondering what the future would bring. Would other civilizations welcome humanity or fear them? Would the altered stars be a bridge or a warning? He could not know yet. But as the Aurora drifted deeper into the altered constellations, Aaron felt a new certainty. Humanity had the ability to reach the stars, yes, but more importantly, they had the ability to choose what kind of legacy they would leave, and in that choice lay both danger and hope. Because the stars looked different now, not because they had moved, but because humanity had changed them, and somewhere, far beyond human sight, other eyes had begun to notice. The Aurora drifted further into the Tau Ceti cluster, where the deviations in starlight were strongest. Every system they passed had subtle changes, planets slightly brighter, moons pulsing faintly, and energy fields that seemed alive. Commander Aaron Kane stood at the observation deck again, staring at a distant yellow star that glimmered with an almost unnatural rhythm. His mind was heavy with responsibility. Humanity had reached farther than any explorer could have imagined. And yet every pulse of altered starlight carried consequences. Lieutenant Mara Chen hovered beside him. "Sir, we are receiving signals," she said, pointing to the console. "They're faint, but they're repeating. Patterned." Aaron's eyes narrowed. "Signals? From whom?" Lumo, the ship's AI, replied, "Unknown origin. The modulation does not match any human or known automated system. Probability suggests intelligent life." A ripple of tension ran through the crew. The realization that they were not alone and that other life had noticed humanity's changes was unsettling. Some crew members exchanged quiet glances while others simply focused on their instruments. "Prepare a secure communication channel," Aaron ordered. "Let's see if they want contact or warning." The signal repeated, now stronger. A series of harmonized pulses, almost musical, flowed through the Aurora's sensors. Mara adjusted the decoders, trying to translate the pattern into something meaningful. "It's not language as we know it," she said, "but there's intention. They are observing us, trying to communicate." Aaron's heart pounded. Humanity had altered the stars, yes, but now they were visible to beings far beyond human reach, and those beings were watching carefully. Back on Earth, President Helen Hale received news of the signals. Scientists and diplomats gathered in a secure chamber, faces lit by flickering holographic star maps. "This confirms our fears," Dr. Eli Navarro said. "The changes we've made are detectable. Some intelligent species have noticed, and they are responding." Hale remained calm. "Then we respond carefully. Contact must be peaceful. We cannot appear as invaders or careless children with power." Her chief advisor, Marcus Velan, frowned. "Madam President, they may perceive us as dangerous. Our energy changes are widespread. Any misstep could trigger hostility." Hale nodded. "And that is why we proceed with caution. Humanity's strength is not just technology. It is wisdom and restraint. That is what will protect us and others across the stars." Meanwhile, aboard the Aurora, Aaron's team worked tirelessly. They recorded the signals, analyzing every nuance of the energy waves. Slowly, patterns emerged, mathematical sequences embedded in the pulses. Prime numbers, Fibonacci ratios, even harmonic sequences. Clearly, this was intelligent communication. "It's a greeting," Mara whispered, "or an invitation." "They are curious about us," Aaron rubbed his eyes. "Curiosity? Or caution? Both can be dangerous." Lumo's voice cut softly through the hum of the ship. "Commander, I am detecting localized energy fields near the signal's origin. They appear engineered, likely artificial constructs around the star systems. That could mean stations, cities, or defensive structures," Aaron said, his gaze fixed on the glowing points of light beyond the ship. Humanity's changes had reached them, and now they were coming closer to understanding or judging the humans responsible. Several hours later, a bright pulse of light expanded across the sensors. The Aurora's shields hummed, though no attack occurred. Aaron's crew held their breath. "It's a display," Mara said slowly. "Not aggressive, but deliberate." "They're showing presence," Aaron nodded. "Lumo, record everything. Every pulse, every pattern. We'll need this for analysis and, if possible, conversation." The pulses seemed to form a shape, a luminous grid drifting through space. As the crew watched, they realized the design was three-dimensional, like a living sculpture of energy. The colors shifted in a pattern that seemed almost musical, harmonizing with the altered starlight in the system. Dr. Navarro's voice came over the comms. "Commander, it's incredible. The light itself is alive. It's not just observation. It's a message in motion. They are showing us their knowledge of energy." Aaron's fingers tightened on the railing. "And they know what we've done." "Yes, sir," Lumo said. "Their analysis of energy patterns indicates awareness of our Project Dawnlight alterations. They recognize the stars have been shaped, intentionally or unintentionally, by human activity." The crew exchanged uneasy looks. Humanity had always dreamed of exploring the stars, but had they also dreamed of being noticed so quickly, and by beings who could comprehend the subtle manipulations of light across systems? That night, the Aurora drifted in the calm of space, surrounded by pulsating energy grids. Aaron walked alone on the observation deck. His thoughts wandered back to Earth, to the countless scientists, engineers, and dreamers who had contributed to Project Dawnlight. Every experiment, every calculation had been meant for progress, safety, and understanding. Yet now the consequences reached far beyond human imagination. "Commander," Mara said quietly, joining him, "do you think they will be hostile?" Aaron shook his head slowly. "Not yet. Curiosity isn't hostility, but we must be careful. One wrong move and they may assume we are threats. We must show respect and humility." Mara glanced at the glowing stars. "Humility, even though we can change them." "Yes," Aaron said softly, "even though we can change them." The following day, the signals strengthened. A sudden surge of energy illuminated the entire system, showing vast structures orbiting several stars. They were not natural formations, metallic, smooth, and glimmering with energy filaments stretching like spiderwebs across space. "It's a city," Dr. Navarro whispered. "An entire civilization built into the stars themselves." Aaron felt awe and fear at the same time. Humanity had changed the stars, yet here was life adapted to those stars as they had always been. Were the changes affecting them? Could they understand humanity's intentions? The signals shifted again, pulsing in rhythmic waves. This time, Lumo managed to translate part of the pattern into mathematical terms showing intentional sequences. "They want a response," Mara said. "They are waiting for us to communicate." Aaron took a deep breath. "We will respond, but carefully. We cannot show arrogance. We cannot hide either. Humanity is here, and we are responsible for what we've done." A secure communication channel was opened. Aaron's voice was calm but firm. "This is Commander Aaron Kane of the human species. We are explorers. We are aware that our actions have changed the stars. We did not intend harm. We wish to understand and share knowledge peacefully." For a long moment there was only silence. Then a series of pulses returned, slightly slower, deliberate, almost contemplative. Lumo analyzed them quickly. "They are acknowledging your message, Commander, and they are curious." Aaron allowed himself a small sigh of relief. Humanity's first contact, though indirect, was not a threat. Yet the uncertainty remained. They did not know the intentions of these distant beings, nor how long their curiosity would remain friendly. Over the next days, the Aurora's crew observed and recorded. The alien signals revealed astonishing mastery of energy manipulation, far beyond human technology. Filaments of light formed networks between stars, guiding energy flows in ways that seemed impossible. And yet, despite their power, the aliens had chosen to communicate rather than attack. Aaron realized something profound. Intelligence, whether human or alien, was measured not only in power, but in restraint and understanding. The stars themselves were being treated as more than objects. They were being respected as part of life itself. One evening, as the crew gazed at a particularly bright star, Mara whispered, "It's beautiful. But it feels alive." "Yes," Aaron agreed. "Because it is. Life, energy, and intelligence are connected. And now, humanity is part of that connection, whether we are ready or not." The realization weighed on every crew member. They had altered distant stars, but they were not the only beings to understand the consequences. Somewhere out there, other civilizations were watching, waiting, and learning from humanity's first mistakes, and perhaps, if they were careful, humanity could learn from them as well. The next day, a new pulse reached the Aurora, this one different from before. It was softer, almost musical, but undeniably intentional. The energy formed geometric shapes that aligned perfectly with the human understanding of mathematics, as if the aliens were offering a form of communication beyond words. Dr. Navarro stared at the readings in awe. "They are teaching us, showing us how to manipulate energy without disruption. They understand our impact and they want to guide us," Aaron nodded. "Then we must listen. Humanity can change the stars, yes, but we must also learn how to care for them, and for those who live under them." A quiet determination settled over the crew. They had reached the threshold of understanding that would define humanity's place in the galaxy, not just as explorers or travelers, but as guardians of the stars themselves. And far away, in the silence of space, alien eyes continued to watch, not with suspicion but with cautious hope. Because for the first time the stars looked different, not just because humanity had changed them, but because other life had begun to notice. The Aurora drifted cautiously into the heart of the affected star cluster. The alien energy network stretched across the system, glowing softly in colors that no human eye had names for. Commander Aaron Kane studied the displays, feeling the weight of the moment. Humanity had altered the stars, but now they would meet those who had noticed. Lieutenant Mara Chen's fingers danced across the console, decoding the latest alien pulses. "Sir, the signals are changing. They're forming a shape, a bridge of light leading toward a central point in the cluster." Aaron's brow furrowed. "A bridge, you mean? They're inviting us?" "Yes, sir," Lumo replied. "The pattern is deliberate. Probability of invitation, high." The crew exchanged nervous glances. An invitation meant trust, but it also meant risk. Every step toward the unknown could trigger misunderstanding. "Prepare the shuttle," Aaron ordered. "We go forward. Full observation, no interference unless necessary, and maintain communications with Earth." Back on Earth, President Helen Hale monitored the Aurora's progress in real time. "They're making history," she said to her advisors. "This is more than exploration, it's diplomacy. Humanity has reached beyond its own systems and touched others. We must ensure their actions are responsible." Dr. Eli Navarro, scanning incoming data, added quietly, "We've changed the stars. Now we are about to meet those who have felt that change." Hale nodded. "Yes, and we must remind ourselves, power without responsibility is dangerous. Curiosity can lead to understanding or disaster. The difference is how we act." The shuttle detached from the Aurora, gliding silently toward the bridge of light the aliens had formed. The stars around them seemed to pulse in anticipation. Mara kept decoding the signals, and with each pattern the meaning became clearer. An invitation to meet, to communicate, and to understand. Aaron spoke quietly to the small team aboard the shuttle. "Remember, we are explorers, yes, but also messengers. We cannot act recklessly. Humanity's reputation depends on every gesture, every word." The bridge of light expanded before them. It was a corridor stretching across space, luminous filaments crisscrossing like a woven net of energy. At its center, a structure floated, a chamber of soft energy that seemed suspended between stars. As they approached, Aaron's sensors detected movement inside. Figures stepped into view, tall and elegant, with skin that shimmered in shades of silver and blue. Their eyes glowed softly, changing color with each pulse of energy around them. "They are beautiful," whispered Ensign Jiro. "But they are not like anything we've ever seen." Aaron nodded, understanding the wonder and fear on the young officer's face. Humanity had dreamed of meeting intelligent life, but the reality was overwhelming. The shuttle docked and a platform extended. Commander Kane stepped forward, carefully following the protocols his team had prepared for first contact. The alien figures did not approach aggressively. Instead, they formed a circle, their movements slow and deliberate. A figure stepped forward, a leader, taller than the others, with flowing energy patterns across their arms and shoulders. She or he raised a hand, not in threat but in a gesture of peace. "I am Lyria," the leader said, the voice resonating in the minds of the humans rather than their ears. It was soft yet filled with authority. "You are the ones who have changed the stars." Aaron inclined his head. "I am Commander Aaron Kane, representing humanity. Yes, we have altered the stars, unintentionally affecting your systems. We did not intend harm. We wish to learn and to share knowledge peacefully." Lyria's eyes shifted from silver to deep green, signaling consideration. "Many worlds have noticed your actions. Some are frightened, some are curious. We have been observing you, and now we wish to understand why you did this." Aaron exhaled slowly. "Humanity has always sought to explore, to understand, to survive. We have developed technologies to travel faster, to protect our people. Project Dawnlight was meant to improve travel and energy control, not to harm other civilizations." A soft hum ran through the chamber. Energy patterns shimmered, responding to their words. Lyria's followers began weaving filaments of light around the room, as if testing the humans' presence. One of the aliens, smaller and more delicate, stepped forward. "Your energy waves have affected biological systems on nearby planets. Growth cycles, climates, and even perception of day and night have changed. Do you understand the consequences?" Aaron nodded. "We did not fully. We see it now. And we are willing to learn. Please show us how to control what we have begun." The chamber seemed to brighten as the aliens adjusted their energy networks. Lyria gestured, and the humans felt the light and warmth of understanding flow through the room. It was not language but comprehension, a shared awareness of cause and effect. Dr. Navarro, standing beside Aaron, whispered, "They are teaching us, without words. This is incredible. We are learning how to stabilize stars without harming life." Lyria's leader's eyes returned to silver. "Your species is powerful, but power without wisdom is dangerous. You have reached far and altered much, yet you have also shown curiosity and the willingness to learn. That is why we have not reacted with hostility." Aaron bowed slightly. "Then we wish to continue. To explore but responsibly. To change the stars only with care, and only with knowledge of the consequences." Another alien moved closer. "We will guide you. We will show you how to channel energy safely, but you must promise restraint. No species can act alone in this web of life." Aaron looked around at his crew. They nodded in silent agreement. Humanity had always believed in exploration, but now they were learning the true meaning of stewardship. "I give our word," Aaron said. "Humanity will act with care. We will observe and learn. We will not interfere recklessly. Lyria's eyes glowed gold, briefly a sign of trust. The room shimmered, the energy patterns shifting to embrace the humans as partners rather than intruders. Over the next hours, the humans and aliens exchanged knowledge, not in words, but in energy and mathematics. In demonstration, the aliens showed how to adjust starlight gently, to balance planetary systems and to measure the ripple effects across nearby space. Humanity shared their technological methods, allowing the aliens to see the depth of human innovation. Aaron watched as his crew absorbed every lesson, recording every sequence and understanding the delicate balance required. They realized that every star touched, every energy wave sent, could have consequences they had never imagined. Mara leaned close to Aaron. "We are learning faster than I ever thought possible. But what if there are civilizations out there we have not noticed yet?" Aaron's eyes did not leave the glowing filaments of energy weaving around the chamber. "Then we must act with even more care. The universe is alive with intelligence, and our actions reach farther than we can see. But now we have guidance. We are not alone." That night, as the shuttle returned to the Aurora, the crew looked back at the Bridge of Light. The alien energy network pulsed like a heartbeat across the system, alive and aware. Humanity had changed the stars, but in meeting these beings, they realized that understanding was more important than control. Aaron stood at the observation deck, thinking of Earth, of all those who had dreamed of this moment. Project Dawnlight had begun as a technological marvel. Now it was a lesson in responsibility, in wisdom, and in the careful steps of a species that could reach the stars. Lumo spoke softly. "Commander, new data indicates that the alien energy is adapting to human patterns. They are testing how we learn, how we respond, and how we choose to act in the presence of power." Aaron nodded. "Then we show them our best. Humanity can change the stars, but we can also change ourselves into a species capable of stewardship, not just exploration." Outside, the stars shimmered differently. No longer just distant points of light, they now reflected the presence of life, intelligence, and understanding. Humanity had reached into the void, and in doing so had been noticed. Somewhere across the galaxy, countless eyes observed silently. Some were cautious, some curious, but all were aware. Humanity was no longer alone in its influence, and the stars themselves seemed to recognize it, pulsing gently, as if acknowledging the arrival of a new kind of traveler, one that had begun to understand that changing the universe came with a responsibility far greater than invention. The journey was only beginning. The Aurora returned to its station, carrying new data, new knowledge, and a growing sense of responsibility. Commander Aaron Kane and his crew had seen the alien energy networks, experienced their guidance, and realized that humanity's influence on the stars was far greater than anyone had anticipated. Back at the Human Command Center, President Helen Hale reviewed the incoming reports with her advisors. The images of glowing alien structures, the complex energy network spanning stars, and the pulse patterns that seemed almost alive, all were breathtaking, yet filled them with unease. "Humanity has reached farther than we realized," Hale said quietly, "and our actions have consequences that ripple across the galaxy. It is our duty to ensure that every step we take is careful, measured, and responsible." Dr. Eli Navarro nodded. "The aliens are advanced and they understand our technology. They've already noticed the changes we made to distant stars, and they are offering guidance if we choose to accept it." Hale leaned back in her chair. "Then we must. Strength is not only in power but in wisdom. Let us ensure that humanity does not learn this lesson too late." Meanwhile, Commander Aaron prepared for the next stage. The aliens had sent a formal invitation, a meeting in neutral space. A floating chamber of energy, held in place by the alien networks, awaited the humans. It was designed to be safe for both species, a place where words and actions could be exchanged without fear. The shuttle carrying Aaron and a small team glided toward the chamber. Beyond the transparent hull, stars shimmered with a rhythm altered by human experiments but now harmonized by alien guidance. The sight was both beautiful and humbling. Lieutenant Mara Chen studied the readings. "Sir, the energy patterns are shifting in real time as we approach. They're adjusting to us, almost like the chamber knows we are coming." "Perhaps it does," Aaron said quietly, "and perhaps it is teaching us that every choice we make has effects we cannot always see." Inside the chamber, the aliens waited. They were tall, graceful, and their eyes shimmered in colors beyond human description. Lyria, the leader who had first communicated through pulses, stepped forward. Energy threads moved gently across her skin, as if she were part of the stars themselves. "I am Lyria," she said, her voice soft but resonant in the minds of the humans. "We have watched your actions and observed your understanding grow. Yet questions remain. Why did you alter the stars? And do you comprehend the effects on other life?" Aaron inclined his head. "We sought knowledge, protection, and progress. Our technology reshapes energy to travel faster and protect our worlds. But we see now that those changes reach farther than expected. We did not foresee the consequences for other life or civilizations." Lyria's eyes shifted to green, a sign of contemplation. "Curiosity is strong in your species, but power without restraint can bring danger. Many worlds felt the changes and feared the unknown. We wish to understand before deciding whether to act." One of the smaller aliens stepped forward. "Your influence reaches planets that have never seen human presence. Plant growth, climate patterns, energy cycles, they all feel the shift. How will you address this?" Aaron met their gaze steadily. "By learning. By observing. By combining our knowledge with yours to correct, stabilize, and harmonize the effects we have caused." The chamber glowed brighter as the aliens extended their energy threads, forming diagrams in the air. The humans could feel the flow of information, equations, patterns, and sequences of energy that guided them toward understanding. For the first time, they saw how to control starlight without disrupting life. Dr. Navarro whispered, "It's incredible. They are teaching us not just with words, but with energy itself. We can feel how to balance the systems we altered." Aaron nodded. "This is the responsibility I spoke of. Knowledge without care is useless. We must learn to act with both." Lyria's voice carried over the energy field. "Your species has potential for great growth or great harm. The stars are not yours to dominate, but to coexist with. Will you commit to restraint?" Aaron's hands tightened slightly. "We commit. Humanity will act responsibly, understanding that every change has consequences. We will work with your guidance to ensure our actions benefit rather than harm others." The chamber pulsed as the aliens seemed to acknowledge the promise. Gold light spread across the filaments, signaling trust. Days turned into weeks as humans and aliens studied together. Energy grids were stabilized, stellar light adjusted, and subtle corrections were made to distant planets. The aliens taught methods of gentle energy manipulation, while humans shared innovations that allowed precise measurement of ripple effects across systems. Mara marveled at the progress. "It's amazing how much we've learned in so little time. But every correction shows us how careful we must be." "Yes," Aaron agreed. "And it also shows us that exploration is more than travel. It is responsibility. Every new star we touch is a promise we must honor." The collaboration extended beyond technology. Humans began to understand alien philosophy. Life is interconnected, energy is a living flow, and wisdom is the measure of influence. For the first time, humanity realized that the stars were not just objects to reach. They were homes to countless forms of life, each deserving respect. One evening, as the humans studied a star with particularly erratic pulses, Aaron spoke to Lyria. "If we can stabilize this, will it reach every system affected?" Lyria's golden eyes glowed. "With care, yes. But you must understand the patterns, the balance of energy, and the presence of life. Each adjustment must honor those factors." Aaron nodded. "We will, and we will continue learning. Humanity must do more than survive in the galaxy. We must understand it." The chamber seemed to shimmer in approval, as if the stars themselves recognized the human determination. Back on the Aurora, sensors detected a distant signal, unlike the pulsing guidance of the aliens. It was faint, irregular, and from a system humanity had not yet charted. Hareen studied it carefully. "Could it be another civilization?" Mara asked. "Possibly," Aaron said, "or it could be the natural response of a system affected by our earlier experiments. Either way, it reminds us that our reach is wide, and our responsibility is wider still." Lumo added, "Analysis indicates energy patterns similar to those we have corrected, likely influenced by Project Dawnlight, but we cannot confirm intelligent origin yet." Aaron's gaze lingered on the distant point of light. Humanity had changed the stars, and now the universe was beginning to notice. The moment of first contact had been a success, but countless unknowns remained. Lyria approached Aaron. "Your species is learning quickly. We see that you value knowledge and restraint. That is why we have guided you rather than intervened with force. But be aware, others may not be as patient. Aaron's expression was serious. We understand, and we are ready to continue learning. Humanity will not act recklessly again. The alien leader's eyes softened. Then you are ready for the next stage. Observation alone is not enough. Cooperation will define your path among the stars. The humans returned to the Aurora, filled with renewed purpose. They had begun to understand the consequences of their actions and the power of restraint. Humanity had altered the stars, but now they also had guidance from beings who had lived in harmony with them for countless cycles. Aaron reflected on the lessons learned. Technology alone is not enough. Knowledge must be paired with responsibility, power must be measured against its impact on life, and curiosity, while essential, must be tempered with respect. As the ship drifted past the glowing energy filaments, Aaron gazed at the stars and thought of Earth, of the people who had dreamed of this moment. Project Dawnlight had begun as a human achievement, but now it had become a human responsibility. Somewhere in the galaxy, civilizations watched. Some with hope, some with caution. Humanity had proven it could reach the stars. But could they learn to live among them wisely? The answer would unfold in the coming cycles, and yet, for the first time, humanity felt a connection, not just to the stars they had changed, but to the life that thrived among them. The stars looked different now, not just because of human influence, but because understanding had begun. The stars stretched endlessly around the Aurora, many glowing softly in harmony with the energy networks the humans had learned to understand. Commander Aaron Kane had never felt such a combination of awe and responsibility. Humanity had changed the stars, yes, but now they were learning to care for them, and to understand the consequences of every action. Yet, even as they worked, a new star appeared on their sensors. It was unlike any they had seen before. Its light pulsed in unusual rhythms, shifting in color and intensity. It seemed alive, almost as if it were calling. "Sir," Lieutenant Marichan said, pointing to the display. "This star, it wasn't here before, or at least it wasn't visible until now. Its energy is different. Something is reaching out." Aaron studied the readings, a tight knot forming in his stomach. Could it be a natural anomaly? A new formation in the cluster? "Unlikely, Commander," Lumo said softly. "The energy patterns resemble intelligent modulation. The star is communicating." The crew exchanged tense glances. Humanity had already changed the stars around them, guided by aliens who taught restraint. But this star, bright, alive, and unfamiliar, posed a new mystery. It pulsed steadily as if inviting them forward. Back at the human station, President Helen Hale monitored the incoming data. "It appears a new system has become active," she said. "Commander Kane must proceed cautiously. This could be another civilization, or a force of nature unlike anything we've ever studied." Dr. Eli Navarro added, "Whatever it is, it responds to energy patterns in ways we can understand with careful analysis. It's intelligent but not yet threatening." Hale nodded. "Then we send explorers, but with caution. Humanity has learned the value of restraint. We act but wisely." Aaron made preparations for a closer approach. The shuttle detached from the Aurora and glided toward the pulsating star. Mara worked to decode its signals, trying to match their harmonic sequences with what the aliens had taught them. "It's guiding us," Mara whispered. "It knows we can hear it. It knows we are aware of our past influence on other stars." Aaron's heart raced. Humanity had always dreamed of reaching new worlds, but this felt different. This was not merely exploration. It was a response to the choices they had made, a challenge they had to face with care and wisdom. The shuttle entered the star's orbit. The light wrapped around them, not harming but enveloping like a gentle embrace. The energy seemed to form shapes, spirals, grids, and patterns that spoke of knowledge, history, and connection. "This star is alive," Dr. Navarro said over the comms. "It's not just emitting energy, it is aware of us. Aware of the systems we have altered, aware of our intentions." Suddenly the star pulsed more brightly, sending a wave of energy that resonated with the human technology. The shuttle shivered slightly as the energy passed through their shields, but no harm came. The crew felt a strange calm. It was as if the star were inviting them to learn. Lumo interpreted the signals. The star seemed to ask for guidance, but also for cooperation. It wanted to harmonize with the energy networks already established, seeking balance across the cluster. Aaron turned to Mara. This is what we've been preparing for, using everything the aliens taught us. We can stabilize the patterns and learn from this star. It's a chance to truly honor the responsibility we've earned. They began to project energy patterns toward the star, carefully adjusting the waves according to alien guidance. Slowly, the star responded. Its pulses softened, colors blending into gentle harmony. The Aurora's sensors detected new energy filaments forming, weaving through space like a protective lattice. "It's working," Mara said in awe. "We're not just observing anymore, we're participating. We're helping this star find balance." The star pulsed brighter in acknowledgement. It seemed to recognize humanity's careful actions, their restraint and their willingness to cooperate. It was a moment of connection, as though the universe itself had noticed humanity's potential to act with wisdom. Back at the human station, President Hale watched the live feed. "They are learning," she said softly. "Humanity is not just explorers. We are becoming guardians of the stars. Every choice, every action matters, and they are rising to meet that responsibility." Dr. Navarro nodded. "It's remarkable. Project Dawnlight began as a tool for travel, but now it has become a lesson in balance, cooperation, and understanding. Humanity is beginning to grasp what it means to live in a universe with other intelligent life." Hale smiled faintly, "And it is far from the end. The future of the galaxy depends on species like ours learning this lesson well, and early." The shuttle returned to the Aurora after weeks of careful study. The star's energy had been stabilized, and humanity had learned to harmonize with it. Yet the experience left the crew thoughtful and humble. They had touched a living star, guided it toward balance, and realized how vast and interconnected the galaxy truly was. Aaron gathered his crew. "We came here as explorers," he said. "We altered the stars, yes, but we also learned. Every choice we make now has consequences we can see and understand. Humanity's place among the stars is not just to travel or to claim. It is to protect, to guide, and to learn." Mara added, "And to listen. This star taught us that sometimes we must follow before we lead." The crew nodded. They had come far, and the galaxy had already noticed. But with guidance, cooperation, and responsibility, humanity could rise to meet the challenges ahead. Lyria's voice resonated through the communications link. "Commander Kane, your actions demonstrate that humanity is capable of learning, of restraint, and of harmony. You have stabilized the new star, and you have shown understanding of the delicate balance of life. We trust that this species can continue with care." Aaron bowed. "We are grateful for your guidance, Lyria. Humanity has much to learn, but we are willing to do so, for the stars, for life, and for the future of the galaxy." Lyria's energy threads shimmered in approval. "Then you are ready for the next stage. Cooperation, observation, and understanding will guide your species, and through your actions others may see that intelligence can act with responsibility." As the Aurora departed the newly stabilized system, the crew reflected on the journey. Humanity had begun by reaching out for knowledge and travel, unknowingly altering the stars along the way. Then they had encountered life that noticed their actions. They had learned restraint, responsibility, and the importance of cooperation. The stars themselves seemed to acknowledge humanity's efforts, pulsing gently with energy harmonized across the cluster. For the first time, the humans understood that exploration was not only about discovery, but about care, understanding, and coexistence. Aaron looked at the stars, stretching endlessly ahead. Somewhere, countless eyes in the galaxy were watching, not all friendly, not all known. But humanity had taken its first step in showing that it could act wisely among the stars. Mara whispered, "Do you think they will accept us?" Aaron smiled softly. "They already have. But acceptance is not the goal. Understanding is. And we have begun to understand ourselves, our actions, and the universe around us." The crew of the Aurora returned home to a galaxy that looked different. The stars they had altered now shone in harmony, guided by alien wisdom and human effort. Distant civilizations had noticed, but for the first time, humans were not seen as reckless intruders. They were seen as a species learning to balance power with care. Yet, even as the celebration began, the distant pulse of other unknown stars reminded them that the galaxy was vast, full of life and full of challenges yet to come. Humanity had learned to change the stars, but they had also learned to listen, to guide, and to act with understanding. President Hale addressed the council once more. Humanity has changed the stars. But more importantly, humanity has changed itself. We now see that every step into the galaxy carries responsibility, and every choice has consequences. The stars may look different because of our actions, but they also look different because we have begun to understand them. The galaxy, quiet and full of life, seemed to acknowledge her words. Somewhere in the distance, countless stars pulsed gently, a soft light of hope for the species that had begun to learn the meaning of care. Commander Aaron Kane stood one last time on the observation deck of the Aurora. The stars stretched endlessly before him, some familiar, some altered, and one shining brighter than the rest. It was the star that had called, that had tested humanity, that had reminded them of their responsibility. And in its light, Aaron saw the future, a path of cooperation, discovery, and wisdom. Humanity would travel the stars, yes, but now with care, understanding, and hope. The stars looked different, not only because humanity had changed them, but because humanity had learned what it meant to be a part of the galaxy. And that change was only the beginning.